Good morning, students. I hope you all are doing well. Students, today we are going to revise our chapter Saudi Arabia, the land of hot sands, and Greenland, the land of ice and snow. Let's start with Saudi Arabia, the land of hot sands. Students, deserts are of two types, hot deserts and cold deserts. The Arabian desert is a hot desert. Now students, look at the screen. I am trying to show you the location of Saudi Arabia. Focus on the screen. Here you can see the earth, and now I am showing you the location of Saudi Arabia. Yes, here it is. Saudi Arabia is a large country situated in the Arabian Peninsula. A peninsula is a piece of land jutting out into the sea. Jutting out means bahar ko nikla hua. It is surrounded by water on three sides. And students, it means Saudi Arabia is a country that is located in the Arabian desert. Do you know, students, the Arabian Peninsula is the largest peninsula in the world. It lies between the Red Sea on the west and the Persian Gulf on the east. And the capital of Saudi Arabia is Riyadh. Its neighboring countries are Kuwait, Israel, Iraq, and Jordan in north, Bahrain and United Arab Emirates, that is also known as UAE, Oman and Qatar in east, and Yemen in the southwest. Students, most of Saudi Arabia is a high rocky plateau covered by a vast desert, and the desert is covered with small hills of sand that are called sand dunes. Students, strong winds and dust storms keep blowing and shifting these sand dunes from one place to another. Students, there are no lakes or rivers in this land, but at some places in the desert, underground water comes to the surface, forming fertile areas called oases. If I ask you the question, what is oasis? Then you can say fertile area formed in the desert by underground water that comes to the surface. That is called oasis. Climate of the Saudi Arabia. As you all know, the Tropic of Cancer passes through the middle of the Saudi Arabia. So the climate of Saudi Arabia is very hot and dry. And the country gets very little rainfall, and the humidity is very low. And the sun shines brightly and hot throughout the year. Students, during occasional heavy rain, wide gullies called wadis get filled up with water, and due to extreme heat, the water quickly evaporates. The days are very hot and nights are very cool, and the nights are cool because the sand in the desert cools down quickly at night, and during winter the nights are very cold, and in winter the days are warm but the nights are very cold. Vegetation and agriculture in Saudi Arabia. Very few plants can grow in a desert climate as the area is dry and barren. And cacti and some short shrubs which can withstand the hot and dry condition can be seen growing in the desert region of Saudi Arabia. And students, most desert plants have long roots. These long roots go deep into the earth in search of water. The date palm trees are the only trees which grows easily in this area. And students, some other crops like wheat and barley are grown in the oases. Animal life of Saudi Arabia. Desert animal can live with very little water. Snakes, lizards, insects are quite common in desert, and most of these animals come out at night to find food. And students, Do you know which animal is called the sheep of the desert? Yes, it is the camel. It is very useful as it can live without food and water for many days. Life of the people of the Saudi Arabia. Students, Saudi Arabia is very rich country and this is because of vast deposit of petroleum in the country. It is the biggest exporter of petroleum. The discovery of petroleum, that is also called liquid gold, has changed the lifestyle of the people. Before its discovery, most of the people were poor and now the standard of living is very high. The cities have all modern facilities. Schools and colleges have come up in Saudi Arabia now. Students, some people lead a traditional life in Saudi Arabia and these people are called nomads or Bedouins. They move from place to place in search of green pastures for their goat, sheep and camel. And the main occupation is rearing cattle. Bedouins live in tents made up of animal skin and they sell animals and their products at marketplaces in villages and buy food grains, dates and other things. And students, the tents that they use to live are made of camel or goat skin and the life of Bedouins is now changing. Dress of Saudi Arabia. Here students, you can see Saudi Arabia has modern cities but the society is traditional. That's why when the women go out they must cover their head and body with a black dress that is called abaya or abba and they cover their faces with a veil. Most of the men and boys wear traditional loose fitting white robes that are called thobe and their head are covered with a white cloth held in place by a ring. And to protect their head from sun, they use a head covering that is called gatra. Industry. Beside oil-related industries like petroleum and petrochemicals, iron and steel, cement and fertilizers are the main industries. These industries have been set in Saudi Arabia using the money earned by selling petroleum. Okay, means they use the money that they have earned by selling the petroleum to develop the other industries. Important cities of Saudi Arabia. First one is Riyadh. It is the capital of Saudi Arabia and the largest city also. It is a modern, well-planned city and it has parks, markets, hospitals and schools. Next, Jeddah. People from all over the world come here by air and sea to go to Mecca. And King Abdul Aziz International Airport in Jeddah is one of the largest airport in Saudi Arabia. Next places are Mecca and Medina. Now let me tell you about the religious importance. The religion Islam was founded in Saudi Arabia by Prophet Muhammad. And students, millions of Muslims from all over the world come to Mecca and Mecca is the most important pilgrim center of Muslims. Medina is also another important religious center here. Government in Saudi Arabia. Students, Saudi Arabia is a monarchy. Now, do you know the meaning of monarchy? Yes, monarchy is a country that is governed by a king and queen. And in Saudi Arabia, the king is the head of the government. And you all know the Saudi Arabia is rich in natural resources like petroleum. And the government has used the natural petroleum wisely and made this hot and barren region a rich and prosperous land. India has good relations with Saudi Arabia Apart from import and export of goods, thousands of Indian doctors, engineers, and teachers are working in Saudi Arabia. Most of the people from India went to Saudi Arabia for giving their services. Let's recap the chapter. Most of Saudi Arabia is a hot and dry desert. Only cacti and some shrubs grow in the desert. The land around oases is used for agriculture. Saudi Arabia is a rich country because of vast deposits of petroleum. Saudi Arabia has modern cities, but the society is traditional. The nomads of Saudi Arabia are also called Bedouins. Mecca and Medina, the two important Muslim religious centers in Saudi Arabia, are visited by millions of Muslims every year. These are the important points that you have to keep in your mind. Okay? Now it's time to do some exercises and question answers. First exercise, multiple choice question. Here I will give you one question and four options, and you have to choose the right option. First one is, Saudi Arabia lies partly in the tropical zone and partly in the temperate zone. Its climate can best be discovered as A. Tropical, hot and wet. B. Temperate, neither very hot nor very cold. Hot and dry, cold and dry. And the answer is C. Hot and dry. Saudi Arabia lies partly in tropical zone and the partly in temperate zone. Its climate has best by described as hot and dry. Next, number 2. Saudi Arabia is a rich country because option A, it is a very fertile land. B, it has huge industries and exports several products. C, it has large deposits of petroleum which are exported. D, a large number of tourists visit the country every year. And the answer is, it has large deposits of petroleum which are exported. Number 3. The official religion of Saudi Arabia is Hinduism, Islam, Christianity. It has no official religion. And the answer is Islam. Next, which of these is an important pilgrim center for Muslims? A. Riyadh. B. Mecca. C. Jeddah. And D. All of these. And the answer is Mecca. Next exercise. Give one word answer for the following. First one, the capital of Saudi Arabia. And I hope you all know the answer. The capital of Saudi Arabia is Riyadh. Number 2, hills of sand that keep shifting because of strong winds is called sand dunes. Next, number 3, nomads of Saudi Arabia are also called Bedouins. Next, the most important pilgrim center of Muslims, and the answer is Mecca and Medina. Number 5, the main natural resource of Saudi Arabia, and I hope you all know the answer. The main natural resource of Saudi Arabia is petroleum. Answer the following questions. Question 1. Describe the climate of Saudi Arabia. And I hope you all know the climate of Saudi Arabia. And the answer, The climate of Saudi Arabia is as follows. Number 1, it is hot and dry. 2, it gets very little rainfall. 3, the humidity is very low. Days are hot but nights are cold. Next question. What kinds of plants grown in deserts of Saudi Arabia? And the answer is Saudi Arabia has a very hot and dry climate. Therefore, cacti and some short shrubs grow there. And next question. What is a peninsula or oasis? Here you have to give the definition of both. And first one is peninsula. A peninsula is a piece of land jutting out into the sea surrounded by water on 3 sides. An oasis, fertile area formed in the desert by underground water that comes from the surface, is called oasis. Next question. What is the importance of oasis for the people living in the desert regions of Saudi Arabia? And the answer is Saudi Arabia is a rocky plateau covered by a vast desert. It does not have any lake or river, but in some places underground water comes to the surface, forming fertile area which is known as oasis. In these areas, date palm and some crops such as wheat, barley are grown. Next question. Why is Saudi Arabia such a rich country? And the answer, Saudi Arabia has a vast deposit of petroleum. Therefore, it is a rich country. Next question. Who are Bedouins? And the answer, Bedouins are the nomadic people who move from one place to another in search of pastures for their flocks of goats, sheep, and camels. They live in a tent made of animal skin and sell animals and their products at market places in the villages. And next question, how do Bedouins traditionally earn their living? Bedouins earn their living by selling animals and their product in the market. Next question, why is Saudi Arabia important for the Muslims of the world? And you have to write the importance of Saudi Arabia for Muslims. And the answer is Saudi Arabia is an Islamic state. Its official religion is Islam, which was founded by Prophet Muhammad. It has 2 main pilgrim centers for Muslims, Mecca and Medina, and due to which it is the most important for the Muslims of the world. Now let's focus on another chapter, that is Greenland, the land of ice and snow. Greenland is a country whose northern part is close to the North Pole. Do you think plants or animals can live here? Or is it a land of only ice and snow? Okay, so students, by the end of this chapter, you will know the location of Greenland, the climate, vegetation, animal life of Greenland, about Eskimos and their lifestyles, modern developments that have taken place in Greenland. Let me give you introduction of the topic Greenland. Greenland is the largest island in the world that is not a continent. It means the Greenland is an island. It is not a continent. It is an island and it is the largest island in the world. It is a self-governing province of Denmark. It means it is under political control of Denmark. The capital of Greenland is Nuuk. and the earlier name of Nook is Gurthab. The first European who visited Greenland was Eric the Red, and he was an explorer, and he gave the island its name. Climate of the Greenland. The Arctic Circle passes through the southern part of the Greenland, and most of the Greenland therefore lies in frigid zone in the northern hemisphere. Now students, do you remember what is frigid zone? Students, you have already learned about the frigid zones in your previous chapters. The region between the Arctic Circle and North Pole, or between the Antarctic Circle and South Pole, is called the frigid zone. This zone is permanently frozen zone, and there is no sunlight for most of the months. It remains cold throughout the year. Students, do you know why it remains cold throughout the year? Yes, it receives very slanting rays of sun. That's why there is very cold throughout the year. Students, the Greenland is located between Arctic Circle and the North Pole. Here you can see the picture of different kinds of zones. On the top we have North Pole and frigid zone, and in between the North Pole and Arctic Circle we have Greenland. Students, the type of climate found in frigid zones is called polar climate. What do we call the climate that found in frigid zones? Yes, it is called the polar climate, and both the North Pole and South Pole have polar climate. And the North Pole lies in the Arctic Circle, and most of the Greenland lies in Arctic Circle. That's why the Greenland also has a polar type of climate. Look at the screen, students. Here in white color we have Greenland, and near Greenland you can see Baffin Bay and Davis Strait. These places separate it from the northern islands of Canada. Look at the picture, students. I have marked circle on Iceland. The Iceland is the nearest European country to Greenland. Okay, the nearest European country to Greenland is Iceland. That is marked here in red color. Students, Greenland lies in the continent of North America, and it is a part of Denmark, and it is the largest island in the world. It is the largest island in the world, and its capital is, do you remember what is the capital of Greenland? Yes, Nuuk is the capital of Greenland. Students, the name Greenland is given by Eric the Red in 981. Eric the Red is an explorer, and he gave the name Greenland to this place. Students, the name has no relation with green, because Greenland is almost barren and white, and Nuuk is the capital of Greenland. And you can see here in the picture the capital of Greenland, that is Nuuk. Now students, I want to show you the flag and the currency of the Greenland. Here in the picture you can see the flag and the currency of Greenland. Students, sometimes huge pieces of ice break off and slide down into the sea, and these pieces are called icebergs. And about 80% of the area is covered with ice and snow, and the southwestern coast, where most of the people live in the warmest part of the Greenland, sometimes large chunks or sheets of ice get separated and fell down into the sea. And students, the floating mass of ice in the sea is called iceberg. And icebergs are very dangerous for ships especially, and the International Ice Patrol keeps a watch on icebergs. Students, if I tell you to define icebergs, how do you write? Yes, you can write sometimes huge pieces of ice break off and slide down into the sea, and these pieces are called icebergs. And you can write huge mass of ice floating in the sea are called icebergs. Students, how much area is covered with ice and snow in Greenland? Yes, 80% of area is covered with ice and snow in Greenland. Icebergs are very dangerous for ships passing through his regions. And students, in 1912, a huge ship called Titanic sank into sea after hitting iceberg. And students, it had 1500 passengers, and a famous movie has been made on this accident, and the name of that movie is Titanic. Now it's time to tell you about the climate of the Greenland. And Greenland has a polar climate. It is very cold throughout the year, and the lowest temperature record is minus 66 degree Celsius in 1954. It means it's very much cold in Greenland. And the climate of Greenland is called polar climate. It is cold throughout the year, and there is a little rainfall. And the temperature is always below 0 degrees Celsius. Most of the time the temperature is below 0 degrees Celsius, and during winter one may not see the sun for several months. There is heavy snowfall also. Students, do you know the Greenland is also called as the land of midnight sun? Do you know why the Greenland is called the land of midnight sun? Yes, in summer the sun shines brightly all the 24 hours in most part of the island, and the sun shines even in midnight. That's why Greenland is called as the land of midnight sun. Clear? Students, in winter there is no sunlight because the sun doesn't rise above the horizon. These are months of darkness. Okay, why the winter is called the months of darkness? Because in winter there is no sunlight in the Greenland. Vegetation in Greenland. There is nothing in Greenland because of its extreme cold climate. But in summers, small grasses and some colorful plants grow in coastal areas. Due to extreme cold, plants growth is not possible in Greenland, and only plants that are found are mosses, lichens, grasses and bushes. There are no forests. If I ask you the question, what kind of plants are found in Greenland, what is the answer? Yes, mosses, lichens, grasses and bushes are plants that are found in Greenland. Animal life in Greenland. Only those animals that can adapt themselves to the extreme cold live here. Reindeer, polar bear, musk ox, Arctic fox, seal and huskies are found here. Reindeer is the most useful animal in Greenland. Fish and seabirds are also found here. Huskies plays important role in the life of people over here. And do you know, students, what are huskies? Yes, huskies are wolf-like dogs. They are used for hunting and for pulling sledges. A sledge is called an ice boat. It has no wheels. Reindeer and seals are the most useful animals here. People of Greenland. The native people of Greenland are called Eskimos, but most of them have now mixed with other Europeans. They are now called Greenlanders or Inuits. Students, do you know how the people of Greenland look alike? Yes, Eskimos are short and stout. They have yellowish skin, high cheekbones, and narrow eyes. They lead a very hard life. They wear hooded jackets that are called parkas, and these jackets are made up of the skin of the seal and reindeer. Students, during winter the Eskimos live in igloos. Igloos are the house made of ice blocks, and modern igloos can be made of wood, stone, and skin. During summer they live in skin tents that are called tupigs. The Eskimos are excellent hunters. They hunt seals, whales, and polar bear. In the past, they used blows and harpoons to hunt animals. What do the Eskimos hunt? Yes, they hunt seals, whales, and polar bear. And next question, in the past, what things they used to hunt animals? Yes, in the past, the Eskimos use blows and harpoons to hunt animals. Students, the Eskimos are very intelligent and they make use of almost every part of the hunting animals. They use its flesh as food and use its fat as fuel to cook food. The bones and tendons are used to make needles and harpoons set. In the past, sledges were the main means of transport in Greenland. They were pulled by either strong dogs called huskies or reindeers. And it means, students, if I ask you the question, what are the main means of transport in Greenland in past? And the answer is, sledges were the main means of transport in Greenland in past. Small boats called kayaks and big boats called umiaks. Modern times in Greenland. The life of Eskimos has undergone many changes in recent times, and now Greenland cities have air links with Europe and America. Eskimos today use motorized sledges called skidoos for transport. They use motorboats for fishing. Nowadays, there are good roads and a fine network of communication. School, colleges, and hospitals have been opened. Some towns have air links with Denmark and North America. This has brought them closer to the rest of the world. And now, students, now they use rifles and guns in place of harpoons for hunting. There is compulsory and free education for children up to the age of 14. That's why there are so many schools, colleges, and hospitals in Greenland. I hope you all understood the chapter. Let's do some exercises. Define the following. Number 1, iceberg. Huge mass of ice floating in the sea is called iceberg. Parka. What is parka? Jacket with a hood to cover the head. Next, tupig. A tent made of animal skin is called tupig, and umiak is a broad boat that can carry many people. Means big boat is called umiak. Next, blubber. Blubber means fat of animals like whale and seal. and Eskimos use this blubber as a fuel. Next, harpoons. Harpoons is a spear with a long rope attached to it. Kayak, a narrow boat that is moved with a single paddle, flat at both ends, is called kayak. Next word is igloo. Igloo means a house made of snow or ice. Means a house made of snow or ice is called igloo. Next exercise, fill in the blanks. Number 1. The capital of Greenland is dash, earlier called dash. And the answer is the capital of Greenland is Nuuk, earlier called Gotha. Next, the frigid zone in which most of Greenland is situated is also called tundra region. What is the answer? Tundra. The frigid zone in which most of Greenland is situated is also called tundra region. Next, huge pieces of ice floating in the sea are known as dash. Do you know the answer? What is the answer of this fill in the blank? Yes, icebergs. Huge pieces of ice floating in the sea are known as icebergs. Next, the original inhabitants of Greenland are dash, also called dash. And the answer is Inuits and Eskimos. So, you can write the original inhabitants of Greenland are Inuits and also called Eskimos. Next, dash are temporary house made of blocks of ice by the Inuit. And the answer is igloos. Igloos are temporary houses made of blocks of ice by the Inuits. Next exercise, tick the correct answers. Here, after question, I will give you 3 options and you have to choose the right one. So, the first one is the dogs which help the Eskimos are called. Options are huskies, dholes, hunters. And I hope you all know the answer, that is huskies. Next, the native people of Greenland are called Bedouins, Eskimos, Bhils. What is the answer? I hope you all know the answer, that is Eskimos. Next, number 3. Greenland lies in the dash. Here we have different options: temperate zone, torrid zone, frigid zone. And the answer is where the Greenland lies? Yes, Greenland lies in the frigid zone. Next, number 4. The capital of Greenland is dash. And the options are Iceland, Nuuk, Norway. And I hope you all know the answer. And the answer is Nuuk. That's all for our today's class. Thank you so much for joining the class. Thank you.